Hi, I'm Cameron.
And I'm Cindy.
And welcome to Homeschool Roots. So in this video, we're going to talk about must-have homeschool supplies. So a lot of people just have these idea of what they need, but the reality is you're going to need a lot more than you may initially think if you don't have any experience homeschooling. Okay, so the first one is going to be a designated workspace with storage for your students. Now, some people say, oh no, we're not trying to recreate the classroom. And that's true, you don't have to recreate the classroom, but you do need to have like a designated workspace.
Mm-hmm. I think people just work better if when they're at work, they're at work. And you can do that through space, through dressing, through a schedule, but definitely the space where you're working is important. It can either be distracting to you or it can help you concentrate and focus on the job at hand.
I agree. I mean, even me, I work from home, but like having a space where I can just work as opposed to seeing all of my stuff, it makes it a lot easier. Yeah. And so we recommend a classroom if you have the space for it. It just feels like it facilitates learning, and I definitely do not recommend using their bedroom for school if you can help it, but every family's different.
Yeah.
What do you think about using their bedroom?
Well, if I had one child, I don't think I would be opposed to it if they had a desk placed in the room that was just for school. They might use it occasionally. I use my desk for other things, but principally, if I'm there, I'm working on something. It may not be schoolwork, but I'm also not watching TV at the desk, or I'm not, just doing nothing. It's not a relaxing place. I'm getting something done.
Exactly.
So if the child has a desk in their room, now if I have multiple children, I would not do the bedrooms. You are just causing yourself a lot of headaches, and I would bring them to a centrally located place.
Even a kitchen table,
yes,
if you have to.
Yes, if you have to transform your dining room table into a school place for school hours. And it's just, again, the mental cue to you and to the student that you're there to work.
Okay, number 2 is going to be a whiteboard, chalkboard, flip chart where you can write, just a large space for writing. We strongly recommend that because, you're just going to, especially if you've got more than one child, you're just going to make it so much easier for yourself. And they're not even that expensive. You can get like a whiteboard and like your little tripod stand for it for like $100 or cheaper. Yeah. So, but we strongly recommend that you have a large writing space.
Yes. Even a large whiteboard with an easel to put it on will be, less than $15. It's well worth it. And to teach, remember, the more senses you can use in teaching your child, the better off you are. So if your teaching is always just talking, your auditory learners are going to be happiest with that, but a child who is more visually oriented is going to have a hard time with that. Or if everything is always just written on paper so small, sometimes you need to expand a concept to diagram something, or draw shapes and some kind of a chart. And so you really should have something. In addition, if your child is young, this large writing space is really critical for them. Children generally don't like to hold pencils, and one of the reasons is it hurts their hand. Their muscles are not developed to hold a pen or a pencil for long periods of time. But if you can get a child to write with a crayon as small as they can hold on a vertical surface, it strengthens the very muscles that they need to write. And yes, a lot of their writing may end up being typing on the computer, but even with subjects like math, you're going to be writing. They need to be able to hold their pencils or pens for a long time without it being uncomfortable. And a vertical writing surface for young children is very important in developing those muscles.
and writing in general or course paper, and some parents ask, oh, should I teach my child handwriting? Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Because the act of writing helps them for memorization. I know even me, when I'm learning something, me taking notes, it helps me to remember. Even if I don't look at the notes again,
Yes.
it helps.
Yes.
The act of writing is
Yeah.
going to be very good.
And you know that writing is so much more effective than typing, because I know as a typist, I'm seeing letters, not words. And I'm going down a whole line. When I'm really in typing mode, I'm not even thinking about what that means. My brain is communicating to my fingers the placement of the keys and how do I race through that. With typing, you're looking at speed only, not thinking about what it is, the information. So it's far more useful to write your notes.
So number 3 is going to be physical materials for students to manipulate, write on, decorate, etc. Maps, models, art supplies. Try to compensate for all the digital input. Guys, we want tactile materials as much as possible. We said this in other videos, just parking the child in front of the computer is not homeschooling. We want to make sure that your child has the most, comprehensive learning experience. They enjoy learning. If you're just parking the little guy or little girl in front of the computer, they're gonna not enjoy it. That's why, with the COVID, it's so sad, because these students are not getting their college experience. They're sitting in front of a computer all day. So we want to make sure, you're going to want to make sure that you're buying all the tactile, the manipulatives, just models, art for art class. You got to have some sort of art class, something that they can use, especially your boys. They will really appreciate being able to use their hands and being able to just do something besides just clicking the mouse on the computer.
Well, you really need to remember as a homeschooler that children are not just miniature adults, and they need activity, they need to use their brains, they need to practice the spatial relationships of things. And so the more they can do with their hands or with drawing or things that are off of a computer screen. Computer screens are attractive to adults because they're fast, they're easy. With the push of a button, you're here or there and on to the next thing. But we are doing a disservice to our children when we are continually pushing them on to the next thing. Great inventions are not pushed onto the next thing with the push of a button. They are examined and experimented with. The models are built and you try things, and I say get as many materials as you can that the children can use in a variety of ways, both in art supplies, but also in with math. A cone, something that's a cone shape. If you're trying to teach the volume of a cone, how much better is it for them to see that in a three-dimensional representation, not just a picture on a computer screen?
And that's one of the dangers of just cherry picking and downloading stuff off the internet. Whereas if you have a curriculum, that'll tell you what else you need to buy. And I'm sure, are there some curriculums that just have everything, or no?
Yeah, there are curriculums
that just have everything.
Yes, one of the math curriculums, Math UC, is really built on the use of manipulatives. That's why it's called Math UC, with your eyes. It's not just on paper. And starting from the youngest child with little blocks, it's great. And I learned a lot. I was good in math, but I was not taught visually why certain things worked in math, or why you carried the one, why you had to carry to the tens column and things like that. I just knew you did it. But in some of the curriculums that use the manipulatives, you get an understanding of why it's that way. And it can really help a child, especially learning metrics and understanding that well, and just a variety of other ways too.
One of the reasons why Khan Academy is so successful is because he took the time to teach the why of something. Like when you're multiplying, you're really just kind of adding.
Yes.
You know, it's a way of adding instead of just memorizing multiplication tables. What you're really doing is you're just adding a lot of different things at once.
Yes.
And so the same thing, and think about how much further we could bring that if we had actual objects in real life. And that's why when we teach in every video, don't do homeschool to save money. You know, we want the best for your child. And so by investing in the manipulatives that they need, it will just make your child, not only is it going to help them to learn, you want it to be fun. You don't want them to resent school and then, because then they'll start, Mommy, I want to go back to school. You know, whereas if you made the proper investments and you made it fun, they're going to enjoy school. We want your child to enjoy school as much as possible.
Yes, and most of those curriculums, in addition to manipulatives, also have MP3 files or CDs or something of engaging songs that teach those concepts. You know, our girls learned all the states and capitals through songs. They reinforced their multiplication facts through songs. Look at the success of the old Schoolhouse Rock you know, TV program that was on. Those things are all available, and they make things memorable through music, and you know, all kinds of materials like that can really make learning fun and also help your child to actually remember the information.
Sorry, the housekeeper is cooking dinner, but I think is there anything else you think that they're going to need?
No, I think, you know, look at your space. If you have a school room, then, you know, bulletin boards and things that you display on them are important. If you don't, you know, use your refrigerator with magnets to put things up on, you know, engaging. You just want to really engage the sight, the sound, when you can, the taste. Touch, you know, tactile learning. You need, the more senses you can use and the more things you have to engage those senses with your student, the better they're going to learn.
What do you think about, because there's a lot of people that saying, oh, you don't need to try and recreate the classroom in your homeschool. I personally am in favor of having a classroom environment, but why would you think, what do you think about that? Oh, you don't need to recreate a classroom in your homeschool.
Well, is it, you know, absolutely necessary and you cannot homeschool if you don't have a schoolroom? My answer would be no. But a lot of that depends on your family and your personality and your child's personality. I need the schoolroom to remain focused. I don't want to have to, you know, pick everything up off the dining room table to have lunch, you know, and then get it all back out again in the afternoon. And I like the idea of being in a closed-in room so we're not interrupted by, you know, someone coming to read the water meter. And everything has to stop because someone's coming in and out of the house. I want to be able to, you know, close that out and focus on what we're doing in school.
Another thing is, by having a designated classroom, it mentally cues your child to, okay, it's school time. Yeah. Whereas if you're just having it in their room, this is why I'm really not in favor of doing it in their bedroom, is there, you know, the mind is focused on, okay, let me just do that so I can go back to playing with my toys.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have a designated space, it just cues in their mind, this is school. Yeah. That is why actually during the COVID era, a lot of companies said, okay, we can save money, just have everyone work at home. Well, it didn't work out that well for a lot of them because people just are not as focused at home as they are in an actual office space, in a working environment. So if you can, obviously every budget is different, but if you can, we both strongly recommend having a designated space in your home and turning it into a classroom. You don't need to have every single thing that a classroom would have, but just a space that is known by your family that this is where the schooling happens.
Yes. And, you know, let's face it, we say, oh, the children won't focus, or they focus better in the classroom. But let's be honest, we focus in the classroom better too. And if you're down at your dining room table, yes, it can be done, but you're going to have to be very disciplined not to think about, oh, what am I fixing for dinner tonight? I think I'll just get that out. I'll just do a little preparation right now, or I'll just answer this phone call now. I'll just go and clean up, fold this laundry, or clean up a little bit over here. And before you know it, you're really not schooling at all. You're just trying to keep people busy so that you can still just do the household chores.
Exactly.
And so you need to be focused as well. And I know for me, I do that when there is a designated space for school.
Okay, great. All right, well, I think we've covered pretty much everything, so thank you very much. And also make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and ask us any questions, and Sadie and I will try to answer everything that you have. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.